शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। 33 onwards. धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी। यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी। यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकम् विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधाः धृतिः सा पार्थ तामसी। सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधम् शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसं स्मृतम्
तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्.
I think we had just started number 38. So Tyagaha, Jnanam, Karma, Karta, Buddhihi, Dhritihi. Now from 37 onwards, Sukham is being talked about. Sukham was explained. Krishna is hinting that happiness can be derived in many ways. Wanting happiness is not a choice. It's that's how we're all built. And so we will seek happiness. Every animal will be seeking happiness, including viruses and whatnot. So there is a sense of fulfillment that each has, and that we are going to seek. So here Krishna is saying, because we have free will, animals don't have options. They are all instinctual. But human beings, being having this choice, etc., he is saying you can, the means through which you seek this sukham will determine what kind of sukham it is, whether it is sattvikam sukham, rajasam, or tamasam. We saw what was rajasam sukham. We saw it was what? Atma buddhi prasadajam. Krishna is very clear now. Atma buddhi. So as if I go after anatma, the sukham, I will get sukham. Going after anatma means going after things like possessions, whatever I want to possess, anything I want to possess, my relationships, they're all anatma janya sukham. And here, there are anatma janya sukham. And so here he says, Atma Bruddhi Prasadajam, the mind that turns its attention towards oneself. The sukham that comes from that is called Sattvikam Sukham. I think it can't be more explicit than this, okay? And so he said that. And then he says, okay, initially it is like poison, and later on it is like Amrita, etc. He had said. So some characterizations of that kind of Sukham. All right. So what about this Rajasam? We began discussing it. Vishayendriya Sanyogat. Vishaya Indriya Sanyogat. Okay? And so you understand this. The contact between sense organs and objects. And that's sensual pleasures. Pleasures born of sense contact. So there also is very clear. And we analyzed it a little bit. We looked at our the definition of this, the tense and its object from Tattva Bodha. We saw some of those things last time. And so, so this is commonly, commonly, commonly every human being pursues sense pleasures because it's real. Okay, if I do this, then I become happy. If I have this kind of food, then I love it. I love the food. So you can't deny my experience. This is my experience. Therefore, I'll go after it. And so this is how everybody, pursues. But then they also know. They also know, based on samskara. That's why family is so important. Family is important because of this only. Because without the proper guidance, without somebody to tell me, no, you this kind of food is not healthy for you. What is there something called health? Yeah, child has to learn there is something called health. Otherwise, it's not going to know all these things. And there is something called value. There is something called truthfulness. There is some. All these things are very important. Oh, I didn't know all that. You can't steal money. Oh, really? Yeah. So this is all this somebody has to say. And that is how we reset our behavior, our habits, and slowly our values build based on our environment, what we hear. So the more Itihasa Puranas and all we hear, then the child begins to appreciate the values which are which are which are different from Vishayendriya Janya Sukham. They're different. Child quickly picks that up. It's not difficult. And so here Swamiji is saying, the more and more we depend on external things and relationships and so on and so forth. External things are needed for for uh, for some basic security, no doubt. But if we insist on that, we insist on that. He says he's quoting Swami is quoting Chinmayananda. Chinmayananda, he says all these things that you depend on are appointment based sukham. Appointment based sukham means appointment. All these things are appointments. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to get this, I have to get rid of this. And the roof is leaking, so I have to fix the roof. There's some things are necessary, you can't avoid it. But everything is appointment based. I must do something, I must get it. And if some Chinmayananda said, if it is all appointment based sukham, it will lead to disappointment, it seems. So this appointment, disappointment sukham is called Rajasam Sukham. And somebody was saying about this, how these days, this marriages, always talking, I don't know when he gave his lectures, he's talking about how marriages these days are all shaken up, shaken up for some reason or the other. And so, again, the marriages are essential, but at the same time, not clear. Clarity. What is the purpose of marriage is not clear. And so, then after some time, the marriage doesn't work out. And so we say it's better to be separate, better to be away from each other. So that kind of situation is coming. He talks about, and he reminds us of all the mantras we chanted. Jauraham, Prithvi Tvam, Jauraham, Prithvi Tvam. This Saptapadi, right? Saptapadi is the main thing. Vedic, the Vedic part of the marriage is Saptapadi and a few other things. Mangala Sutram and all that is a Pauranic. Pauranic it became much later. And so it is all good. But the Saptapadi is very important. Satya Homam and all it. So Saki, Sakyam Te Gamayam. I am going to enter into friendship with you. Into marriage, they don't say. Into friendship only. Marriage is what? It's two people living together as friends only, obviously. There's nothing greater than a friend. Means the only difference now is they're going to live together versus friends are friends. Sakyam te gamayam sakyat te ma yosham. So may you not reject that friendship with me. Likewise, may I get into friendship with you, and then may I not, due to any circumstance, reject that friendship. These are all vows. These are all Agni Sakshi, vows made. And Jauraham Prithvi Tvam. I am the sky. You are the earth. I am the seed. You are earth. I am the seed. Means what? Hey, seed is of no use unless there is nourishment. And nourishment is of no use unless there is seed. So these kinds of vows are there. That's the partnership you and I are supposed to have, right? That's what he's saying. These are the vows. When I listened to this, I got an idea. I got an idea. Idea is, many of you celebrate marriage days and all. It's good. You have to celebrate it. The idea is this: you invite all friends. Our friends these days, friends will do a surprise. Surprise! And after that, it doesn't become surprise at all. In fact, they stop celebrating because they know somebody is going to spring a surprise. We don't have to do anything. Just sit quietly. Somebody will knock on the door at 6:30 in the evening. So, surprise. When they say surprise next time, or when you organize it, you invite all the friends and everybody, and then let them say whatever they want to say. Oh, he's a great guy. She's a great guy. All that is over. After all that is over, you spring a surprise. What is a surprise? surprise is, guys, we are going to enact, we are going to enact, I think you're all getting the idea. We are going to enact the marriage vows that we made. And then you keep the mantras, what you're going to say, she's going to say, everything is there. Keep the mantras ready, start the action. Action, get set, go. And then have somebody behind you translating all the Sanskrit mantras into English. Very simple it is. Simple set of mantras. And both of you go. Just 5 minutes, 10 minutes is all it takes. Let them see it. It's a good reinforcement for us also. Married people also. It's good. Hey, these are the vows we made. Do we know what vows we made? Did we forget it? Hey, what is a vow to begin with? What is a vow? Vow is something I have to live up to. And so am I doing enough to live up to those vows? So that idea I got after I heard this from Swami. So Manoham Vaktvam. I am the mind, you are the speech. Look at this. Manoham Vaktvam. Is there in the mantra? Samaham Vritvam. I am Samaveda, you are Rigveda. Like this, the list is going. Okay. Anyway, so this is all. Swamiji says this kind of sukham is setup based sukham. And if you are exclusively relying on setup based sukham, you will become upset. Set up will become upset, it seems. So, very nice. Yattadagre amritopamam. Agre, sense pleasure, agre. In the beginning, it's all like amrita. It's instant gratification, that's what it is. And we saw that last time also, I think. And so, in the beginning, amritopamam agre, and then pariname. Yeah, pariname. Pariname means as time passes, as things change. As things change, our body also, changes. And what we love, we may not like, or what we love begins to hurt us. Shankaracharya says something here. It says, Bala, Virya, Rupa, Prajna, Medha, Dhana, Utsaha, Hani Hetutvat. Pariname means what? A, because there is going to be a loss. There's going to be a loss of what? Balam. Balam, strength, Viryam, vigor, Rupa, beauty, beauty. We're all very conscious about our face. And so that's beauty, Rupam. And then Prajna, Medha, thinking process, intellectual process, Medha, retention, recalling. All that is important. That's what makes human being what a human being is. Dhana, wealth also. Utsaha, enthusiasm, all gone. Hani. The more I indulge in all these things, I lose out on these things. And I'm reminded of our Kathopanishad statement. Our Nachiketa made this statement. You know what he said? Jarayanti Tejaha, he said. Jarayanti Tejaha. Because when Yama offered all these great goodies to him, this whole earth he offered. And this one, angels will come, music will be there all the time. He says, this is what he said, Jarayanti Tejaha, Indriyani. He says, all the sense organs, slowly their brilliance will go away, will become dull. He says that there. So I'm reminded of that here. Tad Janita Narakadi Hetutva Pariname, Adharma Janita. Then also Adharma Shankaracharya brings. And then Adharma also will go along with the sensual pleasures. And then Tad Janita Narakadi. Because of that, Naraka will be the result. Raka, etc. That is the definition he gives for pariname. Get that. And then, when the enjoyment is over, Shankara says, Tad upabhoga parinamante. When the enjoyment is all over, when all the friends have left, and you are left with what? Hangover. Hangover is there. And you can't, the night is tossing and turning, getting up, and then groggy and all. Pariname. Okay? Pariname. Ah, Vishamiva. Vishamiva. It's like poison, like having had something that you don't like at all. And So, so these things are good initially. There's law of diminishing returns. Afterwards, we get into addiction. So that becomes a problem in its extreme. Tat sukham rajasam smritam. The opposites. It looks like these two are opposites. Even before going to tamas, rajas itself is like this. Because one is agre vishamiva, the satvikam sukham. Here, pariname vishamiva. Towards the end, it is like poison. There it was pariname amrutopamam. There, the Shastra, as we go towards Veda and towards Shastra, and towards the end, it becomes, with time, it becomes very, very enjoyable. And here, that enjoyment is there right in the beginning. Sense pleasure, obviously. Tat sukham rajasam smritam. So therefore, you now have a new definition of samsara. What is samsara? Hey, relying on this kind of sense pleasure. Rajasam sukham is samsara sukham. Correct? You can use that definition. Rajasam sukham. I don't have that much sattvika sukham in my life. Tamasa sukham, I'm going to see now. But I will have to avoid tamasam sukham. All right. Let's see the translation. With the Swamiji's translation. That happiness arising from that happiness arising from today the audio is better no than last time. Yeah, okay. That happiness arising from the contact of sense organs with their objects. Contact of sense organs with their objects, which in the beginning is like nectar, which in the beginning is like nectar, and when it changes, is like a poison. It's like poison, comma, is considered rajasa. That happiness arising is within brackets. That happiness arising from the contact of sense organs with their objects, which in the beginning is like nectar, and when it changes is like a poison, is considered rajasa.
Guruji, when changes, you can put in the bracket effects over time.
Yeah, you can do all that. You can do all that. Yeah. Next shloka. Yeah, translation is not cast in stone. Translation, you can change words based on your understanding. You can add more words and put words in parentheses, like we are doing in Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad, very beautiful. I love that exercise personally.
Anvaya,
Because
Anvaya.
Anvaya is just reordering words. That's one thing. That gives comprehension, improves comprehension. But comprehension has to improve even more because some of the words there are I don't understand. I understood when it was explained, but I go back to the mantra, I forgot the meaning. Then what do you do? Then you have to put these words in parentheses, etc. Beautiful. Good. Next shloka, number 39. यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च
No, from A it went to R.
No, that's because Rukmini ji is asking.
Because she is A, she is asked.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Yadagre chanubande cha.
It's a nice trick some people are playing, I think, because Narayan said, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the order based on the screen I see. And so now they say, Rukmini, then A Rukmini they will put it so that she will come. Nice idea, And because Narayan said, I don't blame me for it. All right. Yadagre chanubandhe cha
Yadagre chanubande cha.
sukam mohanam.
Somebody else is also chanting, or I couldn't hear you properly.
Your
Yeah.
voice has gone down, Guruji. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yadagre chanubandhe cha
Yadagre chanubande cha.
sukham mohanamaatmanah
Sukam mohanamaatmanah.
nidralasya pramadotham
Nidralasya pramadotham.
tattamasamudahkritam.
Tattamasamudahritam.
Once again, yadagre chanubandhe cha
Yadagre chanubande cha.
sukham mohanamaatmanah
Sukam mohanamaatmanah.
nidralasya nidralasya pramadotham
Nidralasya pramadotham.
tattamasamudahkritam.
Tattamasamudahritam.
Right. So here, Rajas activity. There is some activity going on. The person is interested in one's own well-being and wants to earn some money, possibly there in dharmic ways, and adharma also. Shankaracharya indicated adharma also will be involved because sense pleasure. The more senses drag me, the more I'm going to cut corners, the more I'm going to ignore dharma. So both of them go together. Here, Nidra, Alasyam, and Pramadaha. These are the three things Krishna is quoting. And you can understand sleep, and Alasyam, laziness, indolence, laziness. Pramadaha, just ignoring realities, being indifferent, being callous. Uh, that is called pramada, carelessness, careless, and so uttam, nidra, alasyam, and pramada. Uttam is utpannam, janyam, created, arising from, the happiness arising from these things, nidra, alasya, and pramada. Utpannam, pramadotpannam, right? And that's tamasam udahritam. That kind of a sukham. Everybody needs the nidra. Everybody needs nidra. And so nidra sukham is there very much for everybody. Even the sattvic person gets the nidra sukham, needs nidra. No doubt about it. And so the bed has to be properly made, something, whatever conditions are required for the proper nidra are kept ready, and turning down the air conditioner, this, that, whatever, or the fan. Do you want the fan? If it is yes, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Sometimes this regulator in India will stop working after some time. It will work. What will happen? 1, then you put 2, 2 will feel like 6. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no difference, nothing. 1 or 6, these are the only 2 options you have. Then you have to decide in the night, what should I do? Should I put it in 1, 2, or should I put it in 1? 2 is too much. 1 is too little. what to do? You have to sleep, and you suddenly you can't change situation. These things go. You don't know anything about all these things, so you have to decide what. So all these conflicts you have to resolve. Just by 10 o'clock in the night, you better resolve all these conflicts. However you do it. You want to have a blanket, you put two and then have two blankets more. That's a way to resolve conflicts, And so important. All these things are important. But laziness also, and is there, and some rest is needed for somebody. But here, this guy is absolutely lazy. Pramada, indifferent. Ignorance, indifference to other people, this, that, whatnot. And so, what kind of sukham it is? Atmanaha mohanam. For the sattvic person, sleep will not impact the sattva nature of the person. But for this guy, sleep will do something. What does it do? Atmanaha mohanam. Means deluding, dulling the senses. And instead of getting up and saying rejuvenated, I'm ready for the day, I'm ready for the Gita class, like that, instead of saying that, it is just going to take him further and further down. And he says, oh my God, I have to get up. It's already 10 in the morning. Should I get up? Oh, 10 in the morning, should I get up? So, not 5 in the morning, should I get up? That is a different kind of question. 10 in the morning, should I get up? Okay. That kind of mohanam atmana. And you ask him, try to reason, family members will reason with such people. And this drinking is a big problem. Big problem, I tell you. Everywhere it is round the corner. Somebody didn't come. The person who's working here, the maintenance, for a week he's not there. And then I asked the supervisor, what happened? And he says, don't you know, sir? Don't you know, sir, means what? I don't know. And he says, oh, he drinks? Yeah, he drinks. Too much this time. And then he came back also. I spoke to him. He came back and his eyes were all, they're all bloodshot red. Blood red. I told him, what is this? What are you doing? I heard this about you. Is this what you're doing? No, sir. Some death was there in the family, this, that. This is the conversation we are having all the time. So it's just very disturbing, these kinds of things. How we're trying to help people, and then on top of that, they come up with all these things. And then you tell them, why do you do all this? Then they give you logic. Karma. Nobody can change karma. That Talayuth comes from our Shastra only. You want to know where it comes from? Harinapi, Harenapi. Okay, Harinapi, Harenapi, Brahmanapi, Surairapi, Lalata Likita Reka, Parimashtumna Shakyate, Lalata Likita Reka. Lalata means forehead, So, not this Vibhuti Reka. That another, behind the Vibhuti, there is another Reka. That Reka I'm talking about. Because 3 fingers, it went this way. That's why. So, no, not that Reka. Lalata Likita Reka. Somebody else has written those Rekas. And Brahmanapi, Harinapi, Harenapi, Devairapi. Your Ishta Devatas also will not. You are doing puja every day. He also has no control over this Rekha. Like that, they argue. They argue like that. You can't do anything. These fellows are very intelligent people. They must be thinking, I think. When I come back home, they're going to complain. So I must be ready with some arguments. I think that's how their thought process is. And my guess is that. Because they're very good in logic. You can't convince them that drinking is a problem. It's going to hurt you. This and that won't work. It won't work. They'll tell you why you are stupid, in fact. You'll come up, this conversation will end up like this. And so, atmanaha mohanam sukham, that kind of sukham this is. And Ramji quotes a nice Subhashitam. I loved it. Look at this. Kavya Shastra Vinodena Kalo Gachati Dhimatam. Dhimatam, wise people. You know how they spend time? Kavya Shastra Vinodena. They enjoy themselves. They drown themselves with kavyam. poetry, shastram, poetry and other scientific things also kavyam only. Predictions are all kavyam, all science. Don't think kavyam is just poetry. Kavyam, kavehe idam kavyam. Okay. And Valmiki is a Mahakavi, and therefore the product of his mind is called a Kavyam, Mahakavyam. It's not simple poetry. It's not like you look at the trees and then say something beautiful. No, not that kind of poetry. It has a lot of truths in it, and the truths that are beneficial to us. That's what it is. Kavya Shastra Vinod. Shastram also. Both side by side. And so, Kalaha Gachati Dhimatam. Hey, the wise time of the wise people gets spent like this. What about other people? Murkhana. Vyasanena cha murkhanam. Nidraya kalahena va. Like that he says. Murkhanam. All these fools. Fools means ignorant people. How do they spend their time? Vyasanena. Vyasana. See, Vyasana is just addiction. All this fun, chewing this, that, smoking, and this kind of things. Then further, you can't have fun all day, you know. So what about other times? Nidra. Nidra is always there. You can't sleep all the time also. Then what about the remaining time? Kalahenava. Kalaham, simply going, talking, go to all neighbors and keep on just surrounding, you know, what did they do? What did he do like that? Find more and more stories. Every day something new. They come up with something new. And you wonder, oh, so much is going on in this community. I didn't know that. So that's what they do, it seems. So, Atmanaha Mohanam. So, and then when does the sukham happen? Yad agre. Beginning also this kind of sukham. Anubandecha. Towards the end also. But all there is an end. Towards the end also, this kind of sukham is there. And so it's you think it's wasted life. You ask those people, you're wasting your life. No, it's a happy life. You are jealous of me. I'm leading a happy life. You're jealous of me. Okay. That's what they will tell you. And so, therefore, this Janma also, Swamiji says, living like a buffalo. Like a buffalo. Next Janma, not like a buffalo. Next Janma, buffalo, Mahisha. Therefore, we make use of Krishna's words like this to help ourselves. Say, okay, tamasa sukham, reject. Like tamasa karta, reject. Tamasa karma, reject. Okay, tamasa buddhi, reject. Tamasa dhriti, reject. So all these things, I think if you make in your Abhyasa class, it'd be nice if you make a table and then list each of the things Krishna talked about: karta, karma, jnanam, buddhi, dhriti, sukham, like this big thing, even many topics he talked about. And then just satvikam, what words Krishna had used. Just all the words. Rajasam, what words he used, and tamas. Just to see what words they are. And is there any, there must be some consonants in all these. It'll be a nice thing to do, I think. So, Tatvikam Sukham means the less I'm less focused on the outside, more towards Atma itself. So more self-sufficient Sukham. Atmanyev Atmana Tushtaha Stita Prajnastadochyate, he had said long ago. So Atma, closer to Atma, then that kind of Sukham is Satvikam, which is what the goal of my life can be. All right, let us translate this. That happiness, that happiness, which in the beginning, and at the end is self-deluding, and born of sleep, laziness, and indifference. Sleep, laziness, and indifference is called tamasa. Sleep, laziness, and indifference is called tamasa. That happiness, which in the beginning and at the end is self-deluding and born of sleep, laziness, and indifference, is called tamasa. Next shloka. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तम्
सत्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तम्
यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः
यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तम्
सत्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तम्
यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः
यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिगुणैर्भिः यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः.
Yeah. So now you don't see any Satvikam, Rajasam, etc. He's saying, he's winding up this discussion, concluding this discussion of a description of the different types of Katta, Buddhi, etc. And he's saying, telling why this Sattvam, Rajas, and Tamas is important. That's what he's saying in this shloka. Okay. He's saying I can go on and on like this. This is just a sample. You can take anything you want. You can take anything. You can say family. Can you divide families into Sattvam, Rajas, and Tamas? Yeah, sure. You can use the same ideas and then come up with your own categorization of the Sattvic family. Already, food also. Food is not mentioned here. Food is not, Annam is not mentioned. Sattvika Annam, Rajasika Annam, Tamasika Annam. Yeah, it is there.
17.
It's all there. What is it?
17. Cut from the Lavana Tishta Piksha Riksha Vidahina.
So there in chapter 17 it was talked about. So I think Krishna couldn't stop from saying that. So food is there. Food also he could have said here, but he already said there. And plants, plant kingdom, you can divide. Animal kingdom, you can divide. Human beings already being divided in the same category. So, what about things? What about the inert objects? Insentient things. Yeah, insentient things fully tamas. Fully tamas. That's why there is no activity, there is no consciousness, is not able to be reflected in these objects, in any insentient object. And so it has to be tamas, predominantly tamas, until you come to plants. Plants suddenly just whole world of difference is there, and they are responding. They're responding to some extent to light and water and nutrition, and they start growing by themselves. Amazing it is. Limited amount of sattvam is there. Very limited amount of sattvam. And then rajas, not much there. Sthavaras, they're all called sthavara. No? So they are fixed. They don't move, immove, no motion. No, what do you call this? Locomotion is not there. And like this, you can then you go up to animals. Animals, locomotion is there, growth is there. All the things that plants do, they also do, except producing food. Plants are the only beings that produce food. Nobody else in the universe can produce food. So, therefore, plants really are the only things a human being can legitimately consume. Correct? Because they're stavaras. They can't run away. They are not given the capacity to run. And that's why even the plants you eat, you have to do prayaschitta because they are living beings. They don't want to die, really speaking. But yet I am eating plants. Yeah, prayaschitam is there. Every day I have to do prayaschitta for the plants I consume. Animals, no animal wants to die. Period. Therefore, they have already given me the signal. I don't have to argue with them. No, you are my food and all that. This argument itself is not there. So that consumption is really ruled out. Really speaking, it's ruled out. I'm telling you. You have to confine them. You have to beat them. You have to push them. You have to hack them to death. And they are crying and wailing. All this, if you have to put up with all this if you want to eat animals. So this we see all over. And so it's very clear. So they also have sattva. Buddhi is there. Sattva guna is there. Rajas is there. Tamas, to a large extent, tamas is there because there is no free will at all. Then we come to human beings. Human beings, then the whole gamut Krishna is talking about. It's all there. And free will is also there, given to me. And therefore, I can gravitate from one end to the other end. I can go. I can push. In fact, what is life? What is the purpose of life? If you say, hey, go from tamas predominant to sattva predominant. That would be one nice definition of how to lead a life. Okay. But you have to be able to explain what is tamas, what is rajas, and what is tattva. And so here, here Krishna is saying, look at this. Na asti. Look at this beautiful line. Okay, you have to be careful with the Adhyaya. Yeah, otherwise it's hard to understand. Na asti does not exist. Okay, I hope you're following me with the Sanskrit words. We're going to do the Adhyaya. Only then we can understand this. Na asti does not exist. First two words are there. Okay? Then go to the second line. Second line, you go sattvam. First word is sattvam. This sattvam is not sattva guna. It's all confusing. Sattvam is not sattva guna at all. Sattvam means anything in this universe. Anything or any person, any object is called sattvam. Nas asti sattvam. There is no object in this. No object. Okay, there is no object. All right. Then what? What kind of object it is? Tribihi gunaihi muktam. Look at the words in the second line, second half, right? Last two words, tribihi gunaihi. And then in between, muktam. Muktam. Muktam means free from, absent. Tribihi gunaihi. There is no entity in this world that is free of the three gunas. Correct? That's the main sentence. Once you hold on to that, then everything else becomes easier. So, tribihi gunaihi muktam sattvam na asti. Correct? Tribihi gunaihi muktam sattvam na asti. Sattvam is an object. So, there is no being or object that is free from three gunas. That's what Krishna is saying. And we should not.
Here, when you say gunai, it is a gunakarya that we see, that is sukha dukkha moha, not the guna directly per se.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, That's fine. That's all fine. So this should not be a shock for us. This should not be a shock for us because we saw all these things earlier itself, right? And you have to go back to the creation and all. How did things get created? So, Akasha, Atmanaha, Akashaha, Akashat, Vayuhu, Vayoho, Agnihi, Agnehe, Apaha, Apaha, Prithvi. Okay. Then what about Akasha? Akasha has three gunas or not? Akasha has to have three gunas. That is why we said what? What did we say? What came out of Akasha? Akashasya Satvikamshat. Satvikamshat?
Sukshma.
Shrotrendriyam Shambhu.
Shubda
Yes.
guna.
Akashasya Satvikamshat. Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. Vayogo Satvikamshat. Tvagindriyam Sambhutam. Not Tvagin is not cheek. And skin is what I'm talking about. I'm just showing it because this is right there. So I'm trying to bring all the sense organs in one place. Okay. Like that we saw Akashasya Satvikamshat. Then Akashasya Rajasamshat. Rajas, because now motion, locomotion, dynamism is there. So sense organs over. Next, so Jnanendriyani gone. Next, Vak, Karmendriyani is there. So Akashasya Rajasamshat, Vagindriyam Sambhutam, the organ of speech. Then Vayoho Rajasamshat. Vayoho Rajasamshat. Yes.
Grahanam.
Huh?
Smell is it?
Smell is Prithvi.
Prithvi.
Jnanendriyani over. Jnanam manal Satvikamshat. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, Satvikamshat, 5 sense organs. Over. Next, we are coming to Rajas.
Hasta.
Akashasya
Locomotion.
Huh?
Movement. Pani Pada.
Pani, correct. Vak, Pani, Pad. Vak, then Pani. Grasping. Hands. Pani. So, Vayoho Rajasamshat, Pani, this one. Pani Indriyam Sambhutam. Like that we saw in Tattvaboda. So, the Akasha, Vayu and all already impregnated with 3 gunas. They have 3 gunas. Then the question should be, why? Then what about Manaha? Manaha is what?
Mane Sattva.
Mana is Sattva. Then what? Sattva of what? Akasha or Vayu? Ye Desha.
Akasha Sambhutam.
Akasha Sattva is already we said Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. We can't give the same definition to Manas. Hey, Desham Panchabhutanam
Yes.
Tamani Satvikamshat Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Sambhutani. Means what? Hey, you pull together the Satvika Amsha of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. That will result in this Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittam, memory. All the mental faculties, in other words. That is a Samashti Satvikam. Together, putting together. Then like that, Rajas, etc. comes. Tamas is there. Tamas is what? Tamas produces grossification. So the subtle Panchabhutas we saw, subtle Panchabhutas become gross. Sukshma Akasha becomes Sthula Akasha. The Sthula Akasha is what we are able to perceive, we are able to objectify. Sthula Vayu, Sthula Agni, we are able to perceive. So that is all Tamas. Tamas Amsha, Akashasya. Tamas. The Tamas aspect is what all this Panchikaranam and all we saw. That is grossification. Then how come Akasha has 3 gunas? We are going backward, going backward. Akasha has 3 gunas because Prakriti, Maya has 3 gunas. Trigunatmika Maya. Some shlokas we studied in the 7th chapter itself we saw. 13th shloka. Look at 13th shloka in 7th chapter. Okay. Tribhir Gunamayair Bhavaihi. Hey, Tribhihi is there. Tribhir Gunamayair Bhavaihi. Yebihi, yebis sarvamidam jagat. There he already made it very clear. This entire universe is, is just made up of three gunas. Okay? Mohitam nabi janati, etc. Then next to shloka 14. De daivi hyesha gunamayi. Mama maya. Mama maya. That my maya. Maya. My maya, why he should say? Because without maya, I can't create. I can't create. Brahma cannot create. So, Maya, Mama Maya. That's why Ardhanarishwari. So, Shiva, Parvati, Vishnu, Lakshmi, etc. Everything in pair. Everything. So, that Maya is what? Gunamayi is an embodiment of Guna. Okay. And so we saw all that. 7.4 also. Bhumira, Onalo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha, Ahankara, Iti, Yamme, Bhinna, Prakriti, Rashtada. He introduces the word Prakriti he there. Prakriti is equal to Maya. So then he talks about Para Prakriti. This is Apara Prakriti, etc. We saw that. So, Prakriti Jaihi, that is what he's saying here in this shloka. Sri Krishna is saying, Prakriti Jaihi, these gunas which are born of Prakriti. Because Prakriti, Maya is the cause of the entire creation. Therefore, even Akasha, the most subtle element, also should have three gunas. And so, nothing exists. No, nothing exists without three gunas. Nothing exists where? Prithivyam va divi deveshu va punaha. Prithivyam. This is the only world I know. Prithvi, earth. That's the world I know I live in. And so, either in earth or divi deveshu va punaha. And divi, all the heavens which are populated by devas, so it's heaven. And so divi deveshu va punaha. In the heavens, that have in the midst of all gods also, even gods are subject to all these three gunas. Okay? That's why they also fight with each other. They also have arguments. They also have jealousies. All that is there. There also, and good minds are also there. And so, Devi Deveshiva Punaha. Punaha means again. Furthermore, and so Deveshu. And then so Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Everything is there, 7 up. And then 7 down also. You can include 7 down also. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Pata. All that. This is the entire universe. And so wherever you look, these three gunas will be there. Every object will be influenced by the three gunas. Only the human being is given the capacity to say, I am influenced in a wrong way, in a negative way. I want to work on this. Okay? And so, let's look at the translation. There is, again, Puja Swamiji's, there is no existent being. There is no existent being. Na sattvam asti. Either on the earth, or furthermore, va punaha, you have to give justice to all the words. We can't just willy-nilly ignore words. Just because it's inconvenient in translation, chod do. No, initially you can do that, but you have to account. Why does Krishna say va? Punaha, again, all these words are there. And how am I going to make sense out of one language to another language, So, there is no existent being either on the earth or furthermore in heaven among the gods. In heaven among the gods. who is free from these three gunas. Who is free from these three gunas. Born of Prakriti or born of Maya.
In this, that Syat, where does it accommodate itself? Asti is there, na Asti. And Syat, where does it fit in the
So you
scheme
have
of
to,
things?
you have to put all that in quotes. So
Yad is there.
Muktam, see, Lala, Muktam Syat. See,
Oh, Muktam Syat.
Muktam Syat, you should say, then Nasti. Such a thing doesn't exist. That's how you should. Om आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ